welcome to the Shelley Studio. Today I'm working in my Scavenger Hunt journal. This is the Scavenger Hunt with the 100 prompts by Janet M. Young. If you're interested in the list, it is in the link to Janet's YouTube channel is in the description box below. One of the prompts is to use a napkin, so I'm using a napkin. I'm going to put this napkin on here, but I don't want it to cover the whole thing. I don't know why. I just felt like I just wanted it to be uneven. Is that weird? So I'm using some Golden's matte medium to glue this down onto my page. If you haven't been following along, this book is made up of gel prints, and I'm probably a little more than halfway through the 100 prompts. There's a playlist down below if you haven't watched and want to see some of the other pages. I think I mentioned last time that I will be doing a flip through of the book once I get done with all the prompts. Another one of the prompts was to use receipts. So I have my receipts out here. And I'm going to spray some shimmer mist. This is by Tattered Angels. I don't think you can get it anymore, but I'm sure any kind of mica spray would get you a shimmer. And this is the only one I have. The sprayer works, so we're going with green. Which works, because I think it kind of works as a little bit of accent to this page. Now, when I created these, I had something completely different in mind. Oh, I am trying to splatter a little bit of gold on the receipts as well with some very stubborn watercolor paint. It's like not giving me enough moisture. Anyway, I was going to create a rosette. Well, I do, but that ends up on a page in the future. Because, yeah, this one just didn't call for it. I made the rosette, and then I set it aside and did something a little bit different with this page. And then that will come in later. But I do use some of this receipt paper, so I can still count that prompt. So I'm just cutting them in half to make narrow strips. Because I want to do a rosette. I want to do a really small one so that it doesn't take up a lot of bulk on in my book. Alright, so I've cut out this girl from a magazine, and I'm going to make her into a pocket. So I need to put her on something a little bit more stiff so that it'll hold up. So I just put her on some cardstock. Well, I think it's like Bristol paper. I'm not sure the weight of it. I have a bunch of scraps near me that I can just grab and use for whatever. So, and I want to extend, I guess, the size of the pocket. So I'm adding some color to one side so that it'll work with so it doesn't stand out. It'll work well with the page that I'm doing. So I just have a couple of De La Rowney paints, purple and violet, mixing them a little bit to try and get something similar to my background. If you've been watching these, I've probably mentioned it before. It's really hard to replicate even the color on a gel print when you've used multiple colors, just to get that actual color, because there's a lot of texture and variance in there. So I think this works, just adding this little bit of purple and violet. I do paint the whole thing, but I end up cutting just a kind of a smallish border around her on that side. And then I'll cut it out and cut it close to her on the white side so there's no white showing. Okay, and the magazine it was in, I don't know if she was an artist or a curator, whatever, but there were panels of paintings behind her, and this is one of them. So I decided to have it be the object that goes in the pocket. And one of the Scavenger Hunt prompts is a wish list. And I thought it would be pretty funny. I put my Amazon wish list address on the back. I thought it was funny. Instead of making a wish list. So now we've got to put it on here. So I'm just going to glue along one edge of her. I believe that is my glitter glue. It catches fairly quickly. And then we're going to tuck this in here. It felt a little bit loose, so I'm just adding a little bit just down by her feet and her head, and just leave enough space for that to go in. I feel like I'm channeling Apg Jamie. She puts pockets in everything. I'm just going to weigh those down while they dry, and in the meantime, here's me putting my Amazon wish list on there. I had to look it up. It's not an easy. So I felt like it needed something, and I'd created those strips. So I decide that was me trying to do the rosette, and it got off. So I do that again later. But we're gonna do some, what's it called, ruching? Usually it's done with fabric. We're gonna do this with my green receipt paper. But I just felt like there needed to be something else on this page. You can see the receipt paper's gotten a little bit dark. That's because I kind of heated the spray. And if you get receipt paper dark or hot, it'll turn black on you. It does eventually fade away, though. At least the ones I've tried to do have faded. And I'm purposely making it uneven, in case you were wondering. So we've got a little bit of a paper ruffle, and that's going to go in there, and there we have it. What do you think? Is the green too different? I know, I kind of like it. All right, another one of the Scavenger Hunt prompts is an interesting pattern. So I just Googled interesting pattern, and I found a video of this particular design. And this is really hard because there's a lot of bulk underneath there, so I don't have a smooth surface to draw this on. I'm giving myself that excuse as to why this turns out so messy. Plus, it was my first time doing this particular design. I don't really do Zentangles. But I was just watching somebody on think it was like a short, video short, do this pattern, and thought I could give it a try. But you can tell my lines are not very evenly spaced. Kind of a bit of a mess. But it was really hard to work over the bumps that are underneath the page. And of course I have this way sped up because I did not move that fast. Yeah. When the video I was watching, the overall pattern just sort of shows up and you can see the lines and the curves and the shading and stuff. But because mine is a little messy, those natural lines that formed aren't as obvious on mine. So I'm going to have to go through it and emphasize some of those lines. Just like this. Just those areas where they should have been smooth. I'm just going through and darkening them. Just to hopefully make it look a little bit better. I guess they do something similar in Zentangle, right? Where they do all the shading and stuff. I don't know if you heard that. A siren just went by. It sounded like a fire truck. Not a common occurrence around here, so. All right, so I've sort of got that pattern down, and now I'm gonna add, I decided to add a little bit of white just on the areas that I feel like should be higher. I don't know if you can really tell. It's too subtle. It's so subtle it's a secret, right? That one's a little bit more noticeable. All right. And so now I'm just taking my blue Faber Castell Pitt pen. It's a brush tip pen. And just going along in the areas that should be a little bit shaded. And I thought this would make a good shadow color. So there is my interesting pattern. And I think I'll do one more page with you today. So that'll get 3 done. I know this video is a little bit longer. I don't know. I've been trying to keep them at 25 minutes or less. I think this might be around there. I'm not sure how much it was when I added the pictures afterwards, but yeah, it's not too long, is it? Is that too long of video? Anyway, here it is. Interesting pattern. I hope you're all doing well, by the way. Hope you're having a good day. This is the next page I'm doing, and one of the prompts I used was junk mail. The bird came from a travel brochure, and another one of the prompts was use a paper towel. I was going to use this envelope, but that just wasn't working for me. So I have this paper towel that has some sprays and watercolor and all kinds of media, I don't know what, on it. on it. And I figured I would just use it to cover the page, except for the bird. And because I've done it where I've used matte medium and glued the paper towels down, and I really don't like the texture, like the hard, I don't know. So I decided with this one, I'm going to glue those pieces of paper towel on. And I like it. It's like, it's much softer. Of course, if I'd have used matte medium, who knows what would have happened with those colors. They might have bled. I know some of it is the Dina Wakeley gloss sprays from a project a few days ago, but yeah, I don't know what else is on there. If you want to see, if you haven't seen the other videos in the scavenger hunt that I've created, I do have a playlist, and that will be linked in the description box below, along with Janet M. Young's YouTube channel, and any products that I used that I can list for you will be listed down there as well, in case you're interested. I'm trying to use the darker colors and the purpley colors to go around the edges of this page, just because that goes with the page on the left a little bit more. And I decided it was too abrupt just to have it on the bottom, so I'm going to go all the way around and frame the bird. And I looked up that bird, and I can't remember what it is now, but one of the places it comes from is Africa. So another one of the scavenger hunt prompts is maps. So that came out of a travel magazine, so I'm going to find a map that has Africa on there so that I can add it to this page, because it needs something down below, don't you think? The picture is up at the top. I mean, there's the paper towel, but it needs a little something, something. Like I said, I'm trying to find the colors that go well and kind of blend to each other, hopefully. And the glue I'm using is Barely Arts. I think it's Barely Art glue. There we go. All right. My thumb is very dark. All right, so I also, one of the prompts is to use a tag. I had this tag already created. It was from Christmas, but I just had it, so I figured I would use it. And Wish works well with the other page, because even if you don't, like, if you don't know that my wish list is in the pocket on the other page. And then here's my map. So I had to make sure that part of Africa was showing. So I've got Africa and Australia showing at the bottom there. And I figured I would just use some more of that receipt paper to give a little bit of a frame around the tag. I just think it gives it a nice little border. But it takes up too much space so that Africa doesn't show. So I'm going to glue that first. And then I will glue the mat to the tag. It works. I think it looks good. Anyway, if you are still here, I really appreciate you watching. If you are still here and you like what you're seeing, think about subscribing if you haven't already. I appreciate that. And leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day.